Hello, in this video we're going to cover deploying and using CVAT. There are four options for deployment. First, using the app online at app.cvat.ai. Second, a bare metal local deployment for development and debugging. Third, a containerized local deployment with Docker Compose for regular use. And fourth, a local cluster deployment with Kubernetes. Using the app online is useful for people who just want to get started annotating as soon as possible, without any special use cases. The next three options involve deploying CVAT locally. Users with strict security or data privacy requirements will likely do one of these. Big companies are an example of such users. If you're a developer, you'll probably like the bare metal local deployment, which makes updating and debugging quicker and easier. If you're using the online version, once you've made an account, you can jump straight into your project. Here's a quick preview of the interface and the workflow. Let's click on the Projects tab and create a new project. Just click the plus button and choose the Create New Project option. Let's specify the project's name and then add the labels we need using the Add Label option in the Constructor tab. In addition to the name, you also have the option to choose a label's color and add some other attributes. Clicking on the Continue button under the label name saves that label. Then you can continue adding new labels or press the Submit button to complete project creation. Back here at the project page, we can now create a new task in the project. Just press the plus button at the bottom right. Here's the new task page. All you have to enter in here is the name field and the video or images you'll be using with the Select Files button. Then just click Submit. This is the task page. If you want, you can split an image or video dataset into multiple jobs. In our case, we're sticking with one. Now we can get started annotating. The toolbar is on the left side. Let's choose the rectangle object type. Choose the label you want, and then press Shape. Click and drag the bounding box around the person. Our first annotation is ready. Press the N key to draw a new bounding box with the same label we just used. Then, just drag out the box in the same way you did previously. Now, we'll finish annotating this image by going back to the rectangle in the toolbar and choosing the car object. Then, click and drag to draw a bounding box around the car. Now, let's move on to the next image by pressing the F hotkey, or by clicking the Go Next arrow at the top. Let's keep labeling. Now, let's save our work. Click the Save icon at the top left, or use the hotkey Ctrl+S. We can also export our annotations. To do this, first we need to find the Export Task Dataset option inside the menu. Press OK, and a zip archive with your annotation will be downloaded automatically. Opening up the zip archive, we can see what our annotation looks like. And that's a brief tour of how to use CVAT. To watch the whole video, including account registration, search for CVAT Product Tour Number 1 on YouTube. 2 slides from now we'll do a demo, but here's a quick rundown summarizing how to deploy CVAT locally using Docker Compose. First, clone the Git repository from GitHub. Then, call Docker Compose to build the containers. After that, create a super user, and then open the home page in your browser. Currently, only Google Chrome is officially supported. At this point, you'll see the same interface as the online version, and you can start annotating. CVAT has a lot of moving parts under the hood. If you just want to label data, don't worry about any of this. But if you're curious, here's a quick overview. The front end is written in React. The back end is written in Python, using the Django framework. Postgres is the database system. There are also several ancillary services such as the Redis message queue, Traefik for load balancing, OPA, which is short for Open Policy Agent for managing user access rates, and Nucleo for deep learning model launches. Each of these services lives in a Docker container, and these containers are all orchestrated by Kubernetes or Docker Compose. Here's a demonstration of how to deploy CVAT locally using Docker Compose. First, clone the repository. Now, navigate to the repository in the command line. Launch the containers using docker compose up/d. There are two things worth noting. First, if you're wondering what the -d flag does, it just launches the containers in the background. Second, my containers, for example cvat_opa, all say done because I've already downloaded them. Yours will look different and take longer because you will need to download them. The end result should be the same. Next, we're going to create a super user. This is the account you'll use to access your instance of cvat. You'll enter a username, email address, and password. Then you'll open a new browser tab and go to localhost:8080. You'll encounter the cvat login page. Here you'll enter the credentials you just created a few seconds ago. At this point, you can use cvat as usual. And that concludes the cvat local deployment demo. For homework, we suggest playing with cvat online and deploying it locally using one of the 3 local deployment methods we mentioned. And that's it. I hope you enjoy annotating using cvat.